just to get you up to date, that Air India flight that was heading from Ahmedabad in India to Western India to London Gatwick, due to arrive at about 6 o'clock this evening. 242 people on board. We understand 230 of those are adult passengers, 2 infants, but also 12 crew on board. Just to let you know, it does appear that, according to the manifest, 53 British nationals were on board that Air India flight bound for Gatwick Airport. 53 British nationals. And again, the footage we are seeing from just outside the airport where the plane crashed just seconds really after takeoff. Very concerning, of course. Huge amount of fuel still on the plane, having just taken off. We'll keep you up to date on any more developments on that as we get them. But right now, let's turn our attention to the surrender of Gibraltar, announced rather cunningly right in the middle of everyone focusing on what was going on with the spending review. And I'm joined now by James Ball, who's political editor of The New World, as was The New European. Good morning to you, James. And it's nice to see you guys focused more on the world and not just Europe. I thought you didn't approve of all that, though.
So, good morning. Well, we listened to you very carefully, Julia, and we knew what you wanted. So
you believe in democracy now and national sovereignty. I'm so happy.
We've always believed in democracy.
You just prefer to hand all our powers over to... I mean, you're full on Ramonas. Come on, you're fully in favour of unelected officials in Brussels having the final say on everything that happens in our country, for goodness sake.
I'm generally in favour of democracy quite widely. I just think that if you're in a trading bloc, it probably works better. And I kind of wish that the referendum had been more honest. But we're also happy to look forward. We want Britain in the world, same as everyone else.
We had plenty of conversations about that. Look, let's talk about where we are with Gibraltar. Gibraltar is a British territory. If I fly from an airplane from an airport in England to Gibraltar, I go from a Britain to a British territory. I don't expect to need either to have my passport checked. And if it did have to be checked, well, perfectly reasonable, but it should be British officials that do that, surely. As of a deal signed yesterday by David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, it will be Spanish border officers on behalf of the EU who will be the airport and ports at the British territory as part of what they call a dual entry system, and people will be basically waved through on the land border in return for creating basically a border between Gibraltar and Britain. Now, that's not acceptable, surely.
I think, look, it sounds bad, but there's a reason for it. You know, we changed the relationship between ourselves and the EU. It was always a bit different for Gibraltar. You know, if you've ever been down there, you know that if you need practical things, you kind of have to be able to go from Gibraltar into Spain and back quite easily, especially if you live there. You know, it's a lovely place. It's not full of practical shops and goods for the 21st century. So... the important thing was that Brits living in Gibraltar can live their lives day to day. This makes that easier. Now,
this is because people work and live on either side of the Spanish border and the Gibraltar, and they go to and from for work and for shopping all the time. So they want to make it easy. But the EU could have made it easy. I mean, look, you know, Switzerland isn't in the EU. It's part of the European Economic Area. But, you know, when I come out of Gibraltar Airport and I have to drive through Switzerland to get to, to France, I mean, there's no one checking anything there. They really don't care. So why does it have to be the case, the Spanish border with Gibraltar? They do it because they're bloody minded and they want to punish us. And then we give in to it by saying, OK, you can have Spanish officials checking our passports. We've just surrendered.
There might be an element of that, but Switzerland is landlocked and Gibraltar isn't. And so there's more of a smuggling risk, there's more of a drugs risk, there's that kind of thing. But the EU has the right to patrol its borders. And
they should patrol them a bit better in Greece and Italy and Spain then, shouldn't they?
We have yes, quite. We have very similar arrangements, though, right here at home. When you go on the Eurostar in St Pancras, you cross a French border there that is policed by French officials. They check your passport. They do all the immigration there. And so far, St Pancras doesn't feel that French. I mean, it's got a few patisseries, but it's fine.
Yeah, there is that. But I've got the Eurostar fairly recently. God, in Paris, we've also got, British officials, people checking on that side, haven't we? So it's a quid pro quo.
Yes, it's a dual stamp system, but here that all happens in the same place. That happens either at the port or the airport. There isn't another end because you're not catching a train. This just means that you do both things in the same place. I think people in Gibraltar are very happy about this. This takes a stress off them.
And that should be the first concern. I accept that. It makes their life easier. But the only reason their life needed to be made easier was because the EU and Spain made life difficult, same as they've done for Northern Ireland. They impose far more checks on goods going across the Irish Sea than goods coming in to any other border in Eastern Europe.
We asked for a new relationship.
Yeah, we didn't ask for them to be bloody-minded and to punish us for leaving their fabulous club.
But if we do that, Spain, who has always wanted Gibraltar back, is going to kick up. Now, they're not going to be thrilled with this. This makes Gibraltar viable long-term as part of Britain. It protects it within that. Yes, it's part of Schengen. Yes, it's got the movement there. But it's a Eurostar-style check, and it means people can continue to be British, live and work, and get on with it. So
okay. James
this
Ball's
is Keir Starmer making Brexit work again.
Making Brexit. I love he's at least they've accepted Brexit, eh? James Ball, political editor of The New World, no longer The New European.